This sounds so cheesy, but my dad used to. So,
Mm-hmm.
also, I maybe mistook this
Mm-hmm.
statement that
Mm-hmm.
my father said to me. And it's so cheesy because I think every parent says this to your
Yeah.
kids. But you can be anything when you grow up.
Yeah.
Literally anything. We came from nothing.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing life now and an
Yeah.
amazing family. And not only that, I feed 550 people directly, and I don't even know how many more people on top of that from just the plants and animals that we put out into the community that we've provided.
Yeah.
And you can do all of that too. When I was
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
I think when my father sat me on his knee and
Yeah.
he used to say these things to me,
Yeah.
I mistook them as you can do everything because now I'm trying to do everything. Like, so my
Was it?
father was a firefighter also after
Yeah.
he retired from
I
the
gotcha.
Navy, so that's why I ended up going into the fire service.
Yeah.
And I wanted to help people, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be Superwoman.
Yes.
And but you can be Superwoman too.
Yes.
This year has been nothing short of unique. Between exploring the virtual landscape and navigating new needs, business has done the extraordinary. Though some still struggle, we have expanded our reach, pivoted our resources to serve the public, and developed innovations to support this newly modified territory of business culture. Yet so much ahead still awaits us, from this year's unsolved challenges to future curveballs no one sees coming. Will we unite and lift one another up, or is hope for that already gone? In GritCON, we have decided to band together more fiercely than ever. There is hope, and we will not be put down. Join us as we overcome our situations and step into the light.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of GritCon Expandcast, Season 2, Episode 3 today, and I have a great guest with me today, but before we get into that too, I want to let you know if you're listening to us on podcast or you're watching our video right now and I'm looking you in the eyes, or not, remember this is GritCon Expandcast, this is your spot for real-world business education, skills, knowledge, and the best network to build a future and build a better economy. And so today we have our guest, Amyrose Miller, actually Amyrose Foll, newly married
Hey,
last
yes.
name. Thank you for being on the show, and just for the audience that's on the video audience here, we have this acrylic shield between us. Due to this is December 2020, so we got some COVID-19 concerns and everything, keeping each other safe and distance and everything, to as much as we can. But at the same time, we want to see everybody's smiling faces and speaking faces on the video cast. So, well, thank you, Amy, for joining in today. I know you're a Richmond native here. Well, you live here in Richmond in our area, so
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to have you. Some guests have actually driven in from far, to be on our show and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
love Virginia. Y'all
Yeah.
can't get rid of me.
Yeah.
I wasn't born in Virginia, but I'm
Uh-huh.
a Southerner at heart.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, that's what we wanted to get to know you. So, and I sometimes, even though I feel like I met you in 2016 or something. Was it?
Maybe earlier than that.
Yeah, it feels like
2015, 2016.
maybe you're right. Yeah, because I think I just got married or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. And I met you through a friend in common named Vicky. Um,
I don't remember.
Vicky,
Oh my
we're in a
gosh.
picture together.
I've met
V.
so. Oh, V.
Yeah,
Yes.
V.
Yeah, that was.
V-E-E.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
She's a wonderful. I mean, I met her. She's an Army veteran,
Yes.
and I was a Navy veteran and everything. We met at actually it was interesting. It was a government league or something,
Uh-huh.
networking luncheon, and then I don't know how, but she said, "Hey, I want to invite you to my friend's business. She's having like some kind of like grand reopening or something."
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes, that was about, we had opened the year before, so I was
Yeah.
already in business for about a year at that point in
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And I actually met V at the Extraordinary Women's Exchange from the Greater Richmond Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
And it was crazy because we were both in boot camp at the same place. She ended up, or at the same time, and she ended up being shipped over to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Mhm.
And it was just bizarre after 20 years.
Yeah.
That was so strange. We ended up sitting right next to each other at Meadow Event Park.
Wow.
And she was like, hey.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
it was
crazy.
so bizarre.
Wow.
But
Small
I'm so
world.
happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love Virginia and all the
Yeah.
people that I've
Yeah.
ended up coming in contact with here.
Yeah.
This is home now.
I know. Well, you it seems like you planted your roots deep, and I'll get to that. What I mean by that too. Even though we're friends, it seems like I don't know that much about your businesses. So I'm getting to learn a little bit about Amy at the same time as the entire audience. I'm excited about this.
Oh,
But
man.
from what I understand, you are like the multi-preneur. I love it. I love this. You have a farm, number
I
one.
do.
Number two, you have a signage business.
Yes, I
Number
do.
three, you have some kind of like digital design, website design business.
Yes.
And then number four, well, also too, as you can already tell, she's a U.S. Army veteran
I am.
and former firefighter.
I am.
And I think there's pictures of you on Facebook doing some kind of like Spartan Spartan strong woman, strong man, strong couple, like going through this obstacle course in the mud and
Yes.
sweating and stuff like that. So this is like, when I say GritCON, like she is almost like the living embodiment of GritCON. I love this. It's like the perfect guest, the type of
Oh,
thing.
man.
So I mean, like explore that. I mean, you have all these great things going on.
I
So
do. I am so incredibly fortunate. I'm like the luckiest person. I think that it is all resultant of some sort of pathological, I just can't stop working. I'm like the workaholic, and I don't know how to stop. It's like I'm driven by some sort of internal engine that just keeps me going, and I don't know any other way to be, honestly. And I don't want to be any other way. I love it. It's great.
And you seem happy with it.
I'm so happy all the time. I love my life.
Yeah.
I want everyone else around me to love their life too.
Yes.
That's like
Oh
my
my
favorite
gosh.
part of business networking
Yeah.
is connecting people
Mhm.
and getting
Mhm.
people together so that they can create something amazing, because that's what life's all about, doing stuff together.
Wow. I mean, it's just like, I gotta admit, like, you guys are feeling it on this audience right now, but this energy in this room is just like hopping all over the place, because she always was like, if you're feeling, I said this before to you too, when the last time we spoke about a year ago or something, it's like, seriously, I could be having a bad day. All I gotta do is like jump on the phone with Amy or be in the same room with her, and that big smile that she has, and the business, and be great, and grit, and all that stuff, and she's gonna like, oh my God, like, I want to go run through a brick wall right now.
Like the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Man, life's too short to be sad. There's so
Yeah.
much to do
Yeah.
and so many opportunities.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I honestly can't imagine any other way to be. I know it's a bit much for some people, and I really honestly do think that it's like a workaholic thing. I spent 10 years of my life after I got out of the Army working 2 full-time jobs, a whole decade.
Wow.
I was a nurse during the day and a firefighter at night, and I loved every single minute of it.
Wow.
And it was very fulfilling. It was also very tiring.
Yeah.
I've got like permanent dark circles
Oh.
under my eyes. But it was seriously like the best thing that I don't know, working is just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like that might not be, some people might not be able to relate to that, and it's okay if you don't, but man, that's where my source of joy comes from, is doing, if that makes sense. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it does, because I'm thinking about, like, one of the key moments in my business career was 2 people, Sharia Me, who was on the GritCon 1, that live audience, but also of all people, my dental hygienist. You know,
What?
when you're in the...
Really?
Yeah, I know, it sounds weird, but your dental hygienist, you're sitting there, and you have a good rapport with them,
Yes.
and you're, like, trapped in a chair, right?
Oh,
And it's like... And they talk about, so what do you do and everything? And I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot of multi-preneur stuff at the time. This was around the same time, around 2015, 16.
Yeah.
And when I spoke about photography, she said, of all the things you do, Ron, that seems to be the one that brings you the most joy, the most happiness.
Yeah.
And you can't stop talking about it.
That's
And
awesome.
I was like, you know what? I just need to steer right straight into like video and photography and everything too. And so that's where I am. You know, I started my own company and everything that had to do with that.
Yeah.
So I think what you're talking about is when you love doing the things that you love to do,
Yes.
it just brings more enrichment to your life.
Yes.
Right?
I've done a lot of the signage for different breweries in Richmond. I know your audience is all over the place, but you guys, look up Richmond microbreweries and small breweries. We have an amazing landscape of craft spirits and craft beverages here. So I worked with a lot of those guys, and there is nothing more beautiful than the look. I remember Cannon and Draw Brewery. Am I allowed to say different brand names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cannon and Draw Brewery was one of my clients. I had worked with them when they were Steambell before. Well, they still are Steambell. They opened another one. And I've never seen such happiness as I've seen on that business owner's face as I was putting his logo on the door. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. He was so happy. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like his dreams materialized as the logo went on his business that was due to open the next week. It was It was really, I love those things. I love seeing other people happy.
Yeah.
That's
It's especially when it sounds like it comes to business.
Yes.
Because that's like I can tell how you are when you make graphics for other companies or logos or something. You just got to, because I know my best friend does for our company, you know, and has in the past and everything too. And I do it too. And I think for me, it's the photography and the videography that goes on to a person's company too. That's like, man, I'm helping a small business. And that's what GritCON's all about, is helping small businesses grow and thrive and everything too. And I think, and one of my questions here too is like networking. And that's one thing I noticed about you. You are an incredible networker in person and probably, you know, whichever ways.
I wish I had time to do it more now. But strong networking at the beginning, if you're a business owner just starting out, strong networking at the beginning is probably one of the most valuable things that you can do. And really make yourself valuable. That sounds and I don't mean that in any sort of like underhanded way, but in a genuine way. Like, even if it's just connecting people. I'm part of a group of female nonprofit leaders, and one of my mentors calls me the spider because I love to weave people together. And that's, I don't know, that can really help you. And it won't help you immediately. It may help you immediately, but not necessarily help you immediately. But I have gotten some of the biggest paying jobs from just word of mouth from people that met me at networking events. And I was described the other day as by another person in business that I met as you don't meet Amyrose, you experience her.
Yes,
I guess so you kind of like you kind of
so
have
true.
to like find your niche and
Yeah.
like and when you're networking with people at these events, just don't put any facade on that you think that you need to like exemplify some sort of like plastic. I talk with my hands too much. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good. I do it all the time too.
So like, and I am guilty of doing this. I would put on some sort of fake what I thought an entrepreneur should look like and how they should behave and whatever. Throw all that out the window, all you guys. Throw it out the window. Because being yourself and being genuine and really listening to people and getting to know them and connecting them with other people that you're meeting also is one of the best things you could possibly do.
And that's so true. Like, I believe in 2020 and beyond, the more authentic, the more you're yourself, the more you express yourself the way you are, the more people are in tune with I guess it's called context. The context of you. And then they see the consistent. They don't see the Amy that's talking to the bankers is a different one that's talking to the brewery owner is a different one talking to the sports league.
Yes, and that's
we get all the same Amy.
Oh, yeah. And doing that, like, I understand why someone would feel that they need to do that. But in the end, people are going to start to see through that facade, and it is going to not go well.
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. Like people will poke holes in the persona that you present that it could be fake, I guess you could say.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And not if you're going to be yourself, be your whole self. And not everyone's going to like that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You got to be brave enough to accept those consequences.
Yeah.
Because the people that do see you and value you, that's where long-term, long-standing business business that really cares about you and your product and the service that you provide is going to come from.
Yeah.
Those people are going to be diehard fanatics.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, I think we talked about on the very last show that was here in person was that it's less about the celebrities in Hollywood these days and everything too. People want to identify with the social media person that they mostly identify with. So and in this audience too, we have a lot of female entrepreneurs as guests, but also I believe as listeners. But interesting enough, on podcasts it always shows males. It's weird. Audio wise, I think we have like a male audience, but then a visual wise, I think we have a female audience. So that's great. Hey, thank you for everybody for joining. But so business networking, being yourself, connecting people. I want to explore that further. The value, because when you're new in business, you don't really have, hey, this is my business, a photographer or whatever it might be. But your ability to connect other people, it's like, hey, this person is great at this, and you've actually done this with me. I was surprised, like nobody else in business has really done this.
What do you mean?
You've referred a competitor to me.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You're like, oh no, I made a mistake. No, seriously. Like I was.
Wait, who was it?
It was
Harry's.
Yeah.
No, he's an Army vet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I don't care. I don't have any. My competitor. I thought you meant your competitor.
No. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He There's more than enough. I actually work with other sign companies on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do things that I don't do, and I do things that they don't do. Like actually, this morning I filled a order for a competitor.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of the printing and I'll white label stuff.
Yeah.
And it just gets sent to their. If they can't do something, they know that they can trust me to do their printing, get it to their customer, but it's labeled as coming from them.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in stealing their clients because there's more than enough business for us to all go around. And the most important thing really is to be able to connect. Because, I mean, like, I'm busy. I'm not always available for jobs. And Anthony might be able to help you out.
Yeah.
And what's more important to me is someone being taken care of, not me getting the business. That's the most important thing because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that your clients are taken care of, whether it puts money in your pocket or not, because they're going to understand that you actually care about them.
Yeah. And
they're going to understand that and come back around.
Wow. I mean, that's some wisdom and a half right there because a lot, and especially in American culture.
Anthony is awesome, by the way, and he's also a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah,
like,
he's probably gonna be a guest on the show.
Awesome, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, he's a really interesting person too. And
absolutely. And a great thing about it too is like I noticed that you just in American culture it can be a lot. Oh, I gotta win, I gotta beat the competition, and everything. In matter of fact, my logo in my company is dominate market, expand your reach. but don't get me wrong, because I always offer people to white label too. Mm-hmm. White label. Hey, at the end of and this goes for sales and it goes for a lot of things in business. Mm-hmm. It's not about you. It's not about your icon, your logo, and even your reputation. It has to do with that person getting what they need.
Yes,
whether it's through you or not. And if you just can help foster the solution to their problem, they will remember you further along than other people will.
Yeah. I've gotten referrals from cases like that where I couldn't do something, but I can't remember who it was. A couple years ago, I was like headed to, I think I was going to York or something with my kids for the weekend.
Okay.
And, I ended up referring to somebody had a death in the family and they needed one of those, like a big memorial print. Yeah. And it needed to be in Florida. And I ended up referring to a friend of mine that I knew that did printing. They wanted to pick it up from me and take it on the airplane. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'll have it waiting for you at the funeral home. And just siphoned that business off to a friend of mine from the Army that is now a printer down in Florida. Wow. So, it's just more important. And it's a client here in Richmond, but it's just more important to make sure, especially when you lose a family member, like, you don't need to be worrying about where your print stuff's coming from. Like, that is not, that is not important. But, and I've gotten referrals from that person, even though I didn't do their printing job, but they've referred other people to me.
Wow, I'm taking notes on this stuff because I feel like I'm actually weak at this. Like I'm seriously am. I really do. I really do think I
feel like you're one of the kindest, most benevolent people that I think I've met in Richmond, and you're also very real too, which is funny because that's what we're talking about. Like being real, because there's a lot of people that are not,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I feel like you are one person that doesn't need to take notes on this sort of stuff.
No, but it's like I could talk to people more in my industry. I could actually reach out more and be like, hey, this person is great at this thing and such, and people would talk about associations in Richmond about other companies like mine,
Yeah.
and I'm like, who? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know who's around me,
Yeah.
and you do. You
I
know your
try.
landscape.
A lot of times I don't, though. I
Yeah.
can't. It's hard because
Yeah.
starting off strong the first few years of networking has made me so incredibly busy that I literally have no time to network anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel really guilty because I usually don't take invitations to like come to these events,
Yeah.
and because now my schedule is weeks out normally, and
Yeah.
it's become difficult. I mean, a good difficult.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yes.
I am one of the luckiest people on earth, I feel like. Probably not really, but
Yeah. I understand what you
but
mean.
yeah.
In the COVID-19 situation, to have
Yeah.
your business thrive and everything too.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's the groundwork too. This last, was it 5 years, 6 years or something?
Yeah, almost 6 years.
6
Can't
years.
believe that.
6 years of paving the road right,
Mm-hmm.
building the structure, building your network, building.
Not always paving the road, right?
Well, yeah, I know. We'll talk about it here in a second. We're gonna talk about the pitfalls, the
Man.
potholes, or
Man.
the big dips or the big craters in the road. We will talk about that here in a second. But yeah. But don't get me wrong. The groundwork was laid out. So you're in a great position now, and I think myself too. Over the last several years. It's like, oh my God, when COVID happened, I still, I don't know, I'm at December and I still have a business. I still have profit. How did that happen?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got so lucky, but
Yeah, and a lot of businesses haven't. And I know a lot of this audience is like, oh my God, I took hits before COVID. Now I'm like done.
Yeah.
But a lot of times too, and we'll talk about this whole restoring yourself, because there's a little bit of a phoenix story to a lot of things that can happen, right?
Yes.
But before we get to those kind of pitfalls and everything too. And we talked about collaboration, so I think we don't even have to talk about it because
collaboration is life.
Yeah,
Yes.
collaboration is life. Is it a lifeblood of
Yes.
a business, you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess for me, I feel like it's not about me. So
Yeah.
it's a collaboration has made me stronger,
Mm-hmm.
and more able to provide different services. Especially because I do have multiple businesses that require a lot of my time, because I don't just sit back and run them. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, I do work in my business, like in the trenches.
Yes.
So, so I guess it's a little bit different. If I was just sitting back as the owner and letting other people run the business for me, maybe I might not feel the same way.
Yeah.
But collaboration has really helped me tremendously, especially because one of my businesses is a nonprofit, and it's actually helped me to kind of blow that up and help more people and reach more people.
Wow.
Because I tried to do it on my own the first year.
Yeah.
Worst mistake I could have made in
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
I was burnt out. I
Yeah.
was tired. I was still doing it. Everything was successful, and it was going really well. We were on CBS. Like, you know what I mean? We were in the newspaper. But I was so tired.
Yeah, exhausting.
And the problem with that is it's like building a fire.
Yep.
You have to have space between the logs.
Okay.
For yourself for the air to breathe, for the fire to get bigger. And I was just piling on logs, and I was not allowing space to breathe.
I gotcha.
And it did not extinguish my fire, but it
kinda,
almost.
I gotcha.
Man.
So you're hearing from a multi-preneur that's like loves to work, loves everything too, but you still gotta be aware that you shouldn't be hacking the axe at the tree by yourself nonstop forever.
Oh my gosh.
You can't be doing that. There's certain limit. I mean, you are talking to a bona fide Wonder Woman, Superwoman here, but even then, she's telling the audience right here is like, seriously, you gotta step back and be like, okay, who else can help me with this?
Oh man, I made those mistakes. Don't make my mistakes.
Yeah,
I will tell you all of the ugly secrets and the horrible things horrible mistakes that I made, so you don't make them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this show is about, because I wish there was a GritCON when I was, starting out. I didn't know about the mistakes and everything too, so we're trying to share those with you as well.
Yes.
But let's see. Okay, so I guess I'm getting to the point. It's like the meat and potatoes of this conversation. The dark side of collaboration.
Oh man. Well, when I say collaboration, I mean like, so for my nonprofit, I actually work with other nonprofits too.
Okay.
To amplify our reach and our ability to better serve the community.
Yeah.
But partnerships are a totally different thing.
Okay.
So kind of partnerships, that kind of collaboration is not always great. Well, I mean, I guess it could be great.
Yeah.
I know that you've had your problems too.
Yeah. All right.
It is painful. Like for a while, I was really, really upset about it. Now I can kind of laugh about it. I mean, it cost me $40,000.
Yeah.
Which was extremely painful. And nobody I think maybe more than that now. Yeah. Actually.
So it's like okay. So a review from season 1 with Ron is just like a little bit of. I jumped into a situation with this entity that seemed legit, seemed like they knew what they were doing, had all the resume right and everything too, and they brought a cohort with them to help me grow my business. It was the first few months of my business.
Oh my gosh, that could have ended you.
Yeah, and I could have used the help, and I needed help when it came to operational stuff. And interesting enough, I'd say what this guy did, he was a scammer, by the way, but he did about a small percentage of what he did was helpful for my business.
Yeah.
But the other 80% or more was a complete disaster and could have ended our business.
Oh my goodness.
And everything, and my friendships and everything. And to the point where I lost $10K. Now, it pales in comparison to your $40K.
That's a lot, no, but $10,000, especially when you're... So I lost that when I was already established and I had money in the bank. Yeah. Losing that up front, that could be disastrous. Yeah. I'm sure it was disastrous.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. And then, some of the warning signs. Let's go over the warning signs though, because I know there's some of the things that happen. Warning sign number 1, they ask you to fill up their tank, or ask you for $20, or ask you to cover dinner too many times. I understand.
Oh man.
Or they always they never cough up their own wallet.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, when you paid he took my $10K. All of a sudden now he takes me to a nice restaurant. I'm like, bro, I know. I even said it to him. I was like, bro, I know you just paid for this with the money I just gave you just now.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Oh man, that's like classic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of, I can relate to that. Yeah, there was always a frantic, I need you to invest this much right now.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being, because I think she knew that my business was successful, and by the end I felt like I was just being used as a bank account. Yeah, exactly. For her ineptitude, and it was very sad. Yeah. And unfortunately, there was actually 3 of us in this, and I still have a really great working relationship with the third partner, and we passed business. We still actually work together. Yeah. She owns a marketing firm in the Northern Neck, and we actually still work together. I do a lot of the printing and some of the design for her marketing clients. And so in a way, it was great because this person brought her into my life. Okay. And so I can't say that I lost everything because I gained a sister, and I gained a business partner, and that I continue to do business with. Yeah. And she's very valuable in my life, and she probably always will be very valuable in my life. Wow. But this person was, and it's my fault. Yeah. I didn't do the research on her. Yeah. Yeah. I took her. I am guilty of always trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. I mean, even if somebody tells me to stay away from somebody or talks nonsense about someone, I am not the kind of person that's just, I don't pile on with the mob mentality and just go dismiss them or talk about them too. I'll give them a chance to either prove themselves or, absolutely, but so that being said, I made the mistake of not actually looking into this person's business, personal life, any of that sort of stuff. And I know it's cliche and cheesy, and they say that, you should never get into a business partnership without doing the same kind of due diligence that you would do for a marriage. Yes. And I did not. Yeah. And she was charming and said all the right things. Yeah. She had rehearsed herself well. She read all of the correct books that she regurgitated the garbage from, that we can all have access to at the used bookstore. Or Amazon, what have you. But and I have a hard time wrestling with that myself. I always try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I know I probably shouldn't. I should be a little more skeptical. My index of suspicion is not very high. Yeah. And it should be higher. And that kind of bit me, and it cost me a lot of money, because then it comes after this whole debacle. I mean, it was so bad, I ended up having to go to the police about this person because they had hijacked some of my like my GoDaddy account where all of my clients' websites were registered.
Yeah.
And also, don't share your passwords with your business partners, even if you think you can trust them with your life.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I did that. Don't do what I do.
Wow.
I've done a lot of great things, but I do a lot of really dumb stuff too.
Yeah, and that's the human nature side. Because I have extreme empathy for this. I think my suspicion factor in the past has been too low. My trustworthiness is to jump into the pool too fast.
Yes.
And that can be a vein of what you could consider. You consider yourself a nice person and
I guess,
empathetic person.
that could be.
And then ends up there. You got to understand that there are business predators out there. So if there are predators in the business world, there's predators in the in military. We were fighting an enemy and everything. Or there's predators in third world countries, or predators in every environment, even family life and everything. There are predators in the business world, and hopefully what GritCON can do is help you identify what those red flags are.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You should treat it like some kind of like marriage and get to know. Have meals, understand, and then also go and ask around the community, hey, have you met this person before and everything too? And don't just do like one or two people, because I did it with this guy. I called like 2 or 3 people. Okay, that's good enough for me.
Oh man, that's better than I did. I didn't do any recon at all.
Yeah, you got to try to go 16 or 18 or 52. Phone calls or find who is this person? Have you done this with them before? Yeah.
I mean, this person literally lied about every aspect of their lives, from the fact that professional certifications that they said they had. Someone misrepresenting themselves as a therapist is that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Sociopathic crazy. But don't do that. Make sure you do your homework, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's another thing too. I think I have this is almost a single question. But it's more, and a lot of times these predators are not necessarily trying to get you. And I'm talking about different people, other than my person and your person.
Yeah,
but
they're just trying to get my money.
Yeah. There's another set of people. I think there's a lot of, and then some people in this audience too, that they may have been taught this is a good idea. So what happens? There's another person that is in GritCON too, that I do counsel with, and she describes they'll go to these super business events and get super motivated. I mean, I would say it's Tony Robbins, right? She goes to a lot of Tony Robbins events.
I didn't even know who he was until last year. I think I'm living under a rock. Yeah. I have a really hard time, and I'm sorry if I offend any of your audience, but I have a hard time with motivational speakers and coaches.
I'm getting to that point of that. Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems so cheesy.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about.
Don't be mad at me, guys.
Yeah, it's the fluffpreneur. It really is.
Oh, I never heard of that.
I wrote it down just now, right before you walked in on this notepad. I was like, the fluffpreneur, hot air.
Yes.
There's nothing there, and sometimes. Originally, it starts from a good point. I think and she describes it as, because she knows a lot of fluffpreneurs. Interesting enough. Is they start off at a good point because they're from corporate world or something and don't value their skill sets or something, and they think that they got to be the next business coach because they see that great person on stage and they're so motivated. Oh my God, I need to go build a business.
Oh my God.
So she'll ask them, okay, what's the business you're gonna start? I'm gonna be a business coach.
Oh man, if your first business is as a business coach, you're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. A lot of business coaches that I now seek after the experiences that you and I described, and I've been in business for a while, years.
Find the ones that have failed at their business because they can teach you the most.
All right, that's perfect. That's perfect. I mean,
or people like you or me that have messed up. But you're still here.
Yep, exactly. Because you need to know somebody that has actually screwed something up big time and then recovered from it, and that's the whole Phoenix thing I'm talking about.
I mean, you have the grit to survive, so you're still here, and you're killing it now.
Oh, thank you. I try every day. I try. I'm going back to the beware of the fluffpreneur, or even, I'll be honest, everybody, beware of becoming one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be aware of becoming one. You're going to read some great books. You can get some good knowledge. But there's something I realize when it comes to it, almost everybody that's on the show now, is you have skill sets.
Yeah.
You are a farmer. You are in, fire prevention, but whichever. But also you are in design.
Yes.
You have the skill sets of graphics. You have the skill sets of farming. You have the skill sets of signage and putting things up in the air and everything too. Those are skills, and you prove it by being a person in trenches and by being the boss at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's like I like to do. When I say digital marketing, I've actually spent 7 months close the door, turn off all the lights and sit there behind a computer and learn digital marketing for 7 months. It was like, and some people dedicate themselves towards, was it stock market stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They'll do that. I did myself to digital marketing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't understand it. And then I came out of that experience like, I know, that's all I did for 7 months. I know now. Now I know this.
Yes.
Type of thing. And that's the thing. If you have to do that as an entrepreneur, you want to build a skill set in something, that's okay. You can start new.
Mm-hmm.
You can start without a degree. You can start without university. But you're going to have to understand, you're going to sit behind that mode of behavior, whether woodworking
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, and understand it nonstop for a period of time.
I actually taught myself design because I went to school for biology and nursing.
Yeah.
And I ended up teaching myself design. I got interested in signage.
Yeah.
Taught myself design. And then just last year, I went back to school and I went to Cornell for digital marketing.
Wow.
And design work. And so I totally put the cart before the horse, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
That might not work for everybody, but it is, I mean, when you can, you should definitely do it and knuckle down and just learn it and get some good knowledge behind you. But you can also teach yourself too.
Yep.
I mean, I literally just got myself a subscription to Adobe and did the thing.
Yes, exactly. Just start doing.
Yes.
That's another thing too.
YouTube was a great resource for me. That sounds so cheesy, but it's free, and I literally learned everything I needed to know to run my business through YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had so many stories here on GritCon about people learning stuff, how to do stuff on YouTube. That is my go-to resource. I literally have 3 screens in front of my desk, and almost every once in a while, YouTube is like, I got Adobe open. And I got YouTube. It's like how to do this.
I do the same thing every day, and I've got my got my headphones in, and I'm constantly learning. I've always got something educational on YouTube, just videos playing the whole time, and I'm listening to it and picking it up. Usually on farming stuff now.
Yeah.
But because that's what I'm trying to grow the most. No pun intended.
I got you. That's a little bit of another warning sign too, to be honest with you.
What do you mean?
There was about either both the fluffpreneur or the dangerous scam artists. I noticed there was a trend. You know what this trend is?
What's the trend?
When they minimize skill sets. They downplay.
What do you mean?
They downplay, disrespect, or minimize the impact or importance of skill sets.
Oh.
If you actually talk to seasoned entrepreneurs and you look back at how they got burned by whatever partnerships, whatever, a lot of what I saw was the situation where the graphic designer, oh man, it's just graphic design, I can do that in PowerPoint. Oh man, it's just photography, I can just use my cell phone. Oh man, it's just video, I can just use my cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just digital marketing, I can just have my 16-year-old do it for me.
Oh my gosh, that makes my heart hurt.
Yeah.
Because all of those things are incredibly important and incredibly difficult too, if you're going to do it right. I mean,
exactly.
Anybody can throw spaghetti at the wall, but not all of it's going to stick.
Yes, exactly. And it's, in some cases, some entrepreneurs, when you're starting out, you're going to have to literally learn, you're going to have to, everything we talked about. You're going to learn Adobe, you're going to learn Facebook backend, and you can learn about all these things. And you should know that. Because by the time you hire somebody like Amy or myself, you now know what questions to ask them to know that we are actually the people we say we are.
Somebody tried selling me ad space online the other day, touting that they're going to get 125,000 people to look at my ad. And I'm like, well, do you have any data on that?
Yeah.
And they got all indignant with me. Like, nobody else asked me for that.
Yeah, I know.
Are you serious?
I'm the first person to.
Hey, if anybody says that to you, run the other way.
Yeah, exactly. If they is like, nobody asked for real data behind something. Nobody's asked. You know what? Nobody's asked to see my business. You know what I'm saying? I've sat inside of people's businesses.
Yes.
In the retail store or their operation or sales team, they actually have their sales team wearing all the same shirts and everything. I've sat and it was like, all right, well, this is a real business.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand some digital entrepreneurship. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit in somebody's inside.
But it's very easy to take some screenshots and throw them over about analytics for other customers that they've worked with.
Exactly.
Or even for their own business, really.
Yeah, exactly. So you prove yourself by data.
Yes.
If you're a digital entrepreneur, you should prove yourself by data. Now, if you're a creative entrepreneur, you can show off your portfolio.
Yes.
Hey, these are my graphics. This is my photography. This is my video. You have undeniable proof. If you're never going to get this question. is that really your videography or photography? Watch me pull the raws,
Yeah.
the raw files or the stuff that in videography you're gonna have behind the scenes.
Yes.
It's like, hey, we're gonna turn the camera this way, and you see Mike and the tour and Sierra holding cameras and holding lights, and like, we really are doing videography.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have what's called undeniable proof.
Yes.
Almost treat it like a jury case, like a jury case or a court case or something.
Mm-hmm.
Undeniable proof, or was it beyond reasonable doubt?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that's helpful for you, everybody. Like, seriously, we want you to know this information so you don't lose 40K, 10K, or some other people lose 60K or whatever it is. Yeah. So, okay, now going back to the other stuff, the kind of cool stuff. Kind of happy stuff, because I love this smile.
It's all happy stuff, really, when you get it, because it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I emerged. I had a good. I emerged from it okay.
Yeah.
So it's all a happy story.
Yeah.
In its entirety when you see the big picture.
Yeah, you brought silver lining too.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I met this great other partner that's like a sister to me. I trust her, I like her, and I have to go through this gauntlet of horrible pain, but now I have this person I trust and love.
Yes, no, I love her, and her whole crew is awesome too.
Absolutely.
And it's great for me in my business. It's very advantageous to have people that are like designers or marketing, because it enables me to not have to hire sales staff.
Wow. Okay.
So they just come to me and funnel all of their work, all of their prints. So what I do is I mark it down a tiny little bit, so they get to benefit not only from their graphic design or photography or whatever the heck I'm printing for them, but they can also mark it up a little bit. And I know all of my competitors' prices in the Richmond metro area.
Yeah.
And I know I'm better than all of them, so then I can confidently tell these people, this is what you need to charge, this is what I'm going to charge you. You're still going to kick everyone else's asses, and it's all the same materials. And so it acts as a way to, like, endear those people, like the marketing companies or the designers, to their clients, because they don't have to think about, okay, now I've got these files. What do I do with these files? Where do I get them printed? How do I get this stuff made? Is the material going to be the right material? Is it what I want?
Yeah.
They take that burden off of their clients. The clients get their digital media and they get their print media, and they don't have to worry about anything. And then I don't have to pay Salesforce.
Whoa.
It's
okay,
awesome.
I'm in shock. I literally am in shock.
It saves me from having to pay anybody. It's awesome. And then I get, like, they are like a little army of salespeople for me.
Wow. Okay. She just handed you like six figures just right there, because that is. You need to take that. I'm going to do this at every show. Every time a guest does this to me, I'm like, you need to play this back. Go hit rewind on this and write down what she just said word for word, because she just killed it for you just now. I mean, because there's an enigma in digital marketing, and that is, like, if you're a marketer, how come you can't market yourself? And you might think that we're going down
a lot of times you don't have time for like my my website or my web development company. Like, there's, I don't know, maybe like. I hardly ever have anything posted on there. Yeah. Because I'm just busy all the time. I mean, in the beginning, I tried to push it. And, like, once you get those few core clients. Yeah.
It just drops always.
It rains. Once it starts to rain, it pours.
It's like a firm, like a whole law firm or accounting firm or something. Once you get your stack of cases and clients, now you're maxed out.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, I got to take care of my clients type of thing, you know what I'm saying? To the point where you try to get to the next level, but there's going to be that plateau. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, this is like, that's why GritCON Expandcast exists. Because I'm thinking of cool stuff to tell the audience. Is like, you're going to plateau, you're going to max out your caseload or workload and client load. And then you take care of them so you can understand, you hire more staff, whatever, and then you try to prepare for the next level up. Yeah. But some people might be like kind of remiss. It's like, how come you don't market as a marketer? Oh, because my caseload is so big.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. No, I feel that pain.
Yeah.
I'm the same exact way, and it's like kind of almost sad. I was I have a call tomorrow for another podcast for a farm side chat with Farmer's Footprint. That's scheduled for next week, but the discovery call is tomorrow, and they've already flown out from California and come and filmed at the farm and interviewed me there, and then I took them around Richmond to show them the community impact we have with feeding people, getting them growing, and all that sort of stuff, to create a measure of self-sufficiency and food sovereignty in their lives. And they were asking for photos and videos, and I didn't even have a logo because I'm so busy doing the things. There's like I said to you the other day, these hands, they do all of the things. Like,
Yeah.
there's less thunder in my voice and more lightning in my hands because I do the stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know. But I didn't even have a logo.
Oh.
It was so sad. I just made myself business cards. It's the cobbler's children have no shoes. I just made myself
Yeah.
business cards, and I own a printing company.
If you go, I know exactly that happens with us designers and digital marketers and stuff. Is like, hey man, can I see your website? It's like, man, my website was made in 2018 when we first started the company. Some of the team that's on there is not even in there anymore.
There's no sign on my sign shop, like the production facility.
Yeah,
it's
I gotcha.
sitting. It's actually, we have made one.
It's just sitting in the corner.
It's just sitting wrapped up in cardboard so it doesn't get ruined because we haven't had any time.
Yeah,
There's literally no time.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine if you
Yeah.
I have this big folder in my I actually have a saved folder of posts from Facebook and a saved folder of bookmarks labeled marketing so that someday I have great intentions. This is probably never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I have really great intentions. Maybe at that point in time, I'll just hire somebody else to do it for me, and give them the folder access.
Yeah, this has actually happened. I've actually spoken to a European digital marketing company. They actually hired another digital marketing company to market them because they're so busy doing their own things. Like, look, the cobbler's kids have to wear shoes.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I live that every day of my life. But it's cool. It's cool. It's funny to laugh at yourself. You cannot laugh at yourself. What can you do? But I am totally guilty of that sort of stuff.
And these are the kind of problems, new entrepreneurs, you want to have these problems. Like, this is cute problems, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. But you touched on it, too. You just grazed at it. I wanted to go more for your community impact and actually by name what you do, what the name of your nonprofit is, and what the purpose of that nonprofit is.
So we are Spotted Pig Hauler, Inc., but doing business as Virginia Free Farm. And what we do is an intersectionality of things, not just providing food. We are a free farm. We grow food and give it away. Free, highly nutritious food to anybody that needs it. We don't do income verification. Just if you need help, you come to us. We'll get you help. All over Central Virginia, up into, we even did some mutual aid work with Fields for Valor, which is another veteran-owned nonprofit farm up in D.C. and Southern Maryland. My brother Peter Scott from the Army, he started that, and I had I had a frost problem.
Okay.
Really weirdly late in the year, and he had extra plants in the greenhouse. I had more eggs than I knew what to do with, so I drove up to DC, got a truck full of plants, and dropped off a truck full of eggs and food, and that food went to feed the folks at Fort Belvoir that he services, and in the Washington D.C. area, all of his military families, and our families here in Central Virginia did not miss out on those peppers and tomatoes that they otherwise would have because ours got killed, which was really great, which is why collaboration is key. Even though he does exactly the same thing I do, we do not compete for grant money. We're not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There is more value in lifting each other up than there is in tearing each other down because your candle's never going to shine brighter when you blow somebody else's out. It's that kind of thing.
Wow.
But yeah, so we provide free food to the area, but we also provide free chickens, because like chickens are pretty much welcome in any major metropolitan area now. It's like trendy to have chicken, to be the chicken lady. So I am the OG crazy chicken lady, and so I've been raising chickens since like 2005 and or 2006.
Yeah.
And so we provide chicks and ducks and plants and seeds to anybody that wants them.
Yeah.
And open source educational material. I will share my all of my handouts from school with whoever wants to use them for some free sustainable agriculture information, and because I did go back to school for that eventually too. And then and because knowledge is power, so I want people to have the means to grow their own food, have the support and facilitation through any like questions they have, if I can get them mushroom spores to plant mushrooms or plants or whatever, or if I need to run through their garden and see like plant this stuff in the shade, plant this stuff in the sun, any sort of help in the educational aspect. So we do all of this with an eye towards making things better for the next generation, because kids are going to do better in school if they are not hungry, if they have access to highly nutritious food and not junk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are going to be better better parents. People are going to be better employees and more productive at work if they're fed and they're not stressed out about food.
Yes.
So it really, and then we're putting urban farms in the Richmond metro area. And that helps kind of with the measure of environmental justice, because a lot of times places that don't have the open green space, like the housing projects and whatnot that we're putting plants into, there are documented health and mental, mental well-being is health, but there are documented adverse reactions to hotspots being in those communities usually, and then those communities, the people that are living there are generally marginalized or historically disenfranchised communities, and it almost perpetuates that cycle of poverty and the inequality. So we are trying to not just rush in and like, I'm going to be a savior and plant these plants here, but give these communities the means to have a co-created and community-driven, community-run food initiative growing on their own turf that they're handling themselves. I'm not telling them how to do it. They're telling me what they want, and I'll help hook it up. But giving someone the power to do it themselves is probably the most valuable thing I think that we can do, because not like, the kids see it, and that makes children more interested in environment and all of that. Because right now in Virginia, especially during COVID, the stats have changed. It used to be 1 in 10 children are going hungry. Now it's 1 in 6 children in the Richmond area are struggling with hunger. That's outrageous. And it doesn't need to be that way, because we throw away 50% of all of the produce that we produce every year. And I understand I don't want any food to go to waste at all, but I do know that like a lot of the stuff that's coming out of the food pantries is high salt, high fat, it's shelf-stable stuff, and that also perpetuates the diabetes, the high cholesterol, that will in turn screw you up at work if you can't control your diabetes, and maybe your kid's not getting to school. And so it's a whole cycle. So we need to kind of break that cycle, and there's I know it's cheesy, let food be thy medicine, but I mean, that is our building blocks. We are made of what we eat. And we put out into the world what we eat, and if we get good food, and with as much that gets thrown away, there's no reason that people can't have that.
Wow. I mean, this hits home for me, because if you hear previously season 1 and even the last episode that was filmed, I went through a lot of starvation as a child, even in Hawaii.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of starvation as a child, and even in Hawaii, I'm surrounded by farmland and still starving. That kind of misnomer. But that's something in itself. I am a living embodiment of how once I got that equation taken care of being able to be fed, and then also too now, in some cases I know I eat a lot of junk food, but I mean now, but
I had fried chicken for breakfast this morning, so I really can't talk about it.
I know, but
it's all right once in a while.
But no, but I did understand that having what you're talking about, having sustainable food and a good food, because when you actually eat good food, your mind is clearer, you focus more, you're able to have more energy and everything too. And a lot of marginalized communities don't have access to that, or denied access, or just by situations just not there.
Well, like for me, my family is Native American, and I don't know, so the commodity foods that are provided to Native American families, or were historically provided, are not healthy. Like I remember from my grandmother's cabinet, those white and black and white labeled commodity food box.
Or something. White label pork.
Oh, so terrible.
Chicken,
That's not healthy for you. And
absolutely.
it's like a dependence that is that, and all the land is held in trust, so there's no way to like build intergenerational wealth also. Which is a great recruiter for the military, by the way. So like in my family, poverty was the recruiter into the military. And
myself too.
Which was a great it was a great opportunity both for my father and for me. My father was in the Navy and I was in the Army, and it really changed the trajectory of our family's generations.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And now I can do this, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
But like, we're historically marginalized, and we have I think it's like something outrageous, like 667% higher diabetes among the Native American population. Because of that sort of food. And I mean, like, you can't learn or you can't think when you're having a diabetic crisis, or your mother is having a diabetic crisis, or in the hospital. I mean, that is it the same in Hawaii?
It can be. It's an island. So everything's
Oh,
imported,
yeah.
and then of course there's cool tropical foods that come out of there, but it's in mass production. It's meant for other
Spam.
places.
That's all I think about when I
Yeah,
think of
spam.
Hawaii.
There's actually it's actually not necessarily a good diet. It's high salt, high pork, high. I mean, it's traditional good foods that taste amazingly great. And by the way, there's a wine for Iron restaurant. I'm running there, but there is that going on too. I understand, especially in an island. It can be even worse.
The
Yeah.
smaller islands, you mean?
No, in a sense that the high salt content,
Oh,
the
yes.
high, the non-nutritious value and stuff, and then the good actual greeneries and everything get shipped overseas to other places.
Really?
Before anyway. So
did
now,
not know that.
but I do appreciate there's a movement towards what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And but this is a really important things that are talked about. Now I always like to talk to the demographic of, in your case, Native American female or thing. So, and I did this on the last cast. If there's a little girl out there, or a woman, or whichever young woman who's Native American that sees your story on this podcast, what would you like to say to them?
This sounds so cheesy, but my dad used to. So, also, I maybe mistook this statement that my father said to me. And it's so cheesy because I think every parent says this to your kids. But you can be anything when you grow up.
Yeah.
Literally anything. We came from nothing.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing life now and an amazing family. And not only that, I feed 550 people directly, and I don't even know how many more people on top of that from just the plants and animals that we put out into the community that we've provided.
Yeah.
And you can do all of that too. When I was little, I think when my father sat me on his knee and he used to say these things to me, I mistook them as you can do everything because now I'm trying to do everything. So my father was a firefighter also after he retired from the Navy, so that's why I ended up going into the fire service. And I wanted to help people, and I wanted to be Superwoman. But you can be Superwoman too.
Yes. So you literally can. You can do it. It is possible. And you can have joy with it. I love the smile, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on the screen too. I want the audience to have access to you. So what is the way that we follow you on social media or find more about you and your website and your farm and everything?
Okay, so the farm is at Virginia Free Farm, both on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find me on Instagram at Mama Maize, MAMAMAIZE, because there's a couple different spellings, but I'm Mama Maize. And if you have any questions, business related or personal or otherwise, just reach out, and I will do my best to get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to grow, please reach out to Virginia Free Farm, and we will be happy to send you seeds for free.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amy. It means so much. Thank you, everybody. And interesting enough, I'm going to spotlight our sponsor today as the EV Resource. So she talked about, making the world a better place through food. Well, the EV Resource, the electric vehicle resource, is making a better place through electric vehicles and less energy dependence. So it's nice that we have this great community circle of making the world a better place through business, environment, electric vehicles, or farming with you. So thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody.
For having me.
Until next time, this is GritCON Expandcast. See you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.